Where's Jovan? Let him out.
Let him
What's
out.
up, Ant?
Let him
We just,
out.
we're just getting set up for this episode. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We got Gene Castillo.
Yo.
We have
Put yourself
Teddy.
in.
And
Yo.
Joel Catechadis is with us today also. We're looking forward to this Baseball's Dead podcast episode 1. I want to thank my man DJ Hectic for making it happen. Check it live on 235radio.com. We're going to get started very shortly.
Oh, it's live over there.
Are we on the air?
Yeah. We are, but I can't really see who's logging in right now.
You can hear
Steve,
me?
what's up?
Too loud or it's good?
Gucci.
Perfect.
Hector, you did a great job. Your team did a great job with the studio, man.
Yeah, this is dope.
Oh, excited to talk baseball, man. You know? Justin, what's up, Justin? Tucker Cali. Shy. Ant, what's going on? Gonna try to do this on a weekly basis, you know.
You guys ready?
La pregunta.
No, they're on the scenes aren't in here and shit? Or the you know, the scenes? Yeah, everything doesn't matter what we do, everything has to have like some type of scene with the shit.
Shout out to Lucas Rincon. Hope you're feeling better. Daniel Ortiz.
There it is.
235 radio.
You guys on?
What's-
Oh, yeah.
So guys, why don't we go around the table and introduce ourselves? You know, I'm Julio Enriquez with the Dugout. I founded, operate, you know, all that good stuff. I'm here. I'm lucky and blessed to be a part of this thing. Launching Baseball's Dead, episode 1. I'm joined here with three great baseball guys.
Thank you.
Let's start on this side. Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Gene Castillo. I coach at the Dugout. I've played baseball since I was 5 and just love the sport.
My name is Teddy Mercado. I coach at the Dugout, and I've played baseball all my life. And
Joel Catechadis, been around baseball for over 30 years, probably even more than that, but happy to be here and be part of the Dugout and everything that's going on that's improving the lives of the local kids and kids afar.
Word.
Right on. So, episode 1, I know I'm hoping that Joel comes along because we're hoping to talk to a lot of baseball minds as far as Baseball's Dead is concerned. This is going to probably be a weekly show, and we're gonna have plenty of guests on. Having you young guys here now, young because you know I've coached you guys since you were young guys. Now you young men, successful young men, and great young men.
Thank you.
Where exactly did you guys play baseball, and why don't you give us a little bit about that?
Go ahead, Teddy.
I played high school baseball at Everett High. Graduated there 2012. went on to my freshman year at American International College. Transferred out of there, went to Bunker Hill Community College, and then got the opportunity to go to the College of St. Joseph in Vermont. And I graduated from there 2019.
Round of
Well-
applause for graduation.
Well, I played for Lynn English High School in Lynn. Then after that, I graduated in 2015. I went to New England College. Stayed there all 4 years. Played for Coach Miller, Christopher Shank, Terry Doyle. Graduated in 2019, and came back to the roots, to the dugout, and started coaching.
Right on. Joe, you got any questions for these guys? I mean, being college ball players, I mean, these guys are guys that really just graduated college, and now, I know they both play in men's leagues, but it almost felt like they had a need to give back to the youth. What's your take on that?
I think it's important that guys that, whether they finish college, get to college, but kids that actually went and were able to participate more than high school, you have a general understanding of what it's going to take in the classroom, outside the classroom, the structure, what does education mean to kids. Bringing that back to the dugout, even into your regular day lives, is important for success. And having you guys finish school, come back and be able to share your experiences with baseball, without baseball, it doesn't make a difference. It's going to make a difference in those kids' lives. So tell me why you came back.
Well, it starts with Coach Julio. I mean, from the first day I met him, shout out to Sharon, it was all love. He asked me, "You play baseball? How well do you play baseball?" I was like, "I'd rather show you." And from there, it was just like a rocket ship took off. And I played for him every summer. He always had my back. I've had his. It's just like family, honestly.
I started with Julio back in, it was a while ago. It was like 2010,
Yeah.
around there. And then ever since then, like James said, it was all love. And I came back because I wanted to make a difference in a young kid's life, because not many people have the opportunity to give back, and now that I have the opportunity to do that, I want to be able to do it.
Sounds like the plan.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, could you? You've coached a Giants team now for, this is going into your second year, right?
My second year.
Second year, Teddy. You're also going into your second year. So last year, could you think of a certain situation that you say, wow, like, the conversation I just had with this young person, with this young athlete, really made an impact? Could you really think about a situation where that happened, whether it's on the diamond, after the game, before game, during the game, or maybe at a practice?
Well, those specific conversations are mostly about emotions and how to control your emotions. Like, you're gonna have those games where you go 4 for 4, but then you're gonna have those games where you go 0 for 5, and it's a roller coaster. So letting them know that it's a game of failure, so that they try to understand the game more. That's important, because I remember having conversations with my coaches, my high school and college coaches, to don't get too high, don't get too low, stay in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
By that wave.
Exactly. And those are the conversations that stick out to me.
Yeah, how about like a certain bond you felt with a ball player? Because me myself and Joel, I'm sure that you've helped, man, hundreds if not thousands of young people move along the ranks, whether it's high school, college, even pro, and even the bigs, right? Is there a certain relationship that you have actually, a certain bond that you've had with a young person that you say, wow, like this person, I feel a certain connection with this person. Like me personally, sitting here in this room with you two guys, like I have a personal, connection with you guys. I love and respect you both, and I always wish the very best for you guys. And I have that connection with a lot of you guys. But I'm wondering if in your young coaching careers, have you experienced that yet?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. With I had this kid, Tucker Cali.
Shout out to Taka.
Yep. First weekend, he went 0 for the weekend. He was in his head, in his own head, and I talked to him, and for the rest of the year, he just took off, and it was something great to see because he was willing to be taught, you know, and that's something at a young age that you don't really see, and that's great.
For me, it was the whole dugout national team. I was more like a player coach for them. They felt the trust, the confidence to speak their mind, and that was probably one of the best, or how I've ever felt with that team, because it was just like I was one of the boys, and and it was that type of relationship that I have with you or that I have with them. It was different for sure.
Joe, how important do you think that connection is for a coach to have with one of their players?
But it's imperative, right? But it's also imperative to know the landscape and what environment you're in. And if you don't know your personnel, you can't help them, and you can't win, right?
Yeah.
So knowing your personnel is really knowing what's going on in every aspect of their lives, and not just what's going on in between pitches and in between innings. You know, did Johnny get a square meal today?
Right.
Is Johnny's parents having an argument?
Yep.
Is his sister having a hard time? Yeah, all those things matter in order to bring out the best in somebody. So if you don't know your personnel, you can't help them succeed.
Yep.
You know,
true.
if you know your personnel, you can put them in the best position to succeed. Let's think about it that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a great way to look at it, because all those things that are happening are all distractions. Are they going to affect them on the field? And that's important to know as a coach.
And a lot of times, it is. It is.
Yep.
I think that's one of the things that, for me, from my standpoint, coaching throughout the years, is I've been lucky enough to been able to identify those issues early with young folks, and they feel a certain connection, a certain sense of comfort, and they seem to open up. And I think, you know, as coaches, and it's important that we understand the big role and the big impact we make in these young people's lives. So, you know, we gotta make sure we move a certain way,
Oh yeah.
right?
Correct.
Because at the end of the day, we are role models. Am I right?
Yeah, being consistent is very, very important.
Yeah.
Setting the tone, you know.
Now, Joel, I'm gonna ask you a question. What do you think? What do you think of the role parents? What parents' behavior should be like on a drive home from a tough game with a kid? Like, let's say a kid had a tough outing on the pitcher's mound, and you know, now the game's over. They lost the game, you know, and maybe he let up the winning hit. Now he gets in the car. What do you think the conversation with the parents should be at that point?
I think it should fall back to, you know, family is love, right? So you like the sport, you go there, you try to compete, do your best you can, but you feel safe when you get back in that car with your family. If you don't feel safe, then it's not a real healthy relationship.
Wow.
Number one. Number two, liking something and loving your family are two different worlds. Your family's going to be there all the time. Maybe they want you to succeed more than they think you do, but being there for your children is more important than saying anything.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's powerful, right? So, I mean, I can't sit here and say I remember those drive homes with my parents back when I was growing up, and I'm sure it was very rare that parents went to our games,
Yeah.
right? But coaching you guys, I do remember your parents showing up and your mom showing up and supporting you at those big games, those big moments.
Yeah.
How were those rides home? You think they made an impact?
Yeah, I would say so, because I'm a pretty emotional player, and sometimes I wouldn't leave it on the field. You know, if it happened on the field, I would keep thinking about it until probably 2, 3, maybe 4 days later, or the next game. You know, and having that family to be there for you and tell you, like, you're gonna be fine, because they see all the work you put in and they know where you want to get to and all that. So they really, like Joel said, they might want you to succeed more than you think that they do.
I tell you though, Teddy Mercado, he taking time ball. Taking time ball. So I could see your parents, moving a little different in the car because if you have a bad game, I can see you
Yeah.
really losing it. Oh,
Look who showed up.
Coach Jovan showed up.
Welcome to the party.
Welcome. So, Gene, how are those rides home?
Well, like you said, my mom would try to make it to every game, but every game that she was a part of, it was those important games, those championship games, and that just gave me even more of an adrenaline to see her out there and know that she's rooting for me. But a couple of those ride back homes were positive. We won the championships, and there was that one that got away from us, but it wasn't nothing too negative. She was just there. Whatever you need, just take it out. Like, just talk about it. Don't hold it in. Just let it out. And it was just like normal conversations that we would have. Like, it wasn't those conversations where like she's being hard on me. I was like already a young adult. I can self-reflect and stuff like that. But as you're younger, I think it's a little harder as an athlete.
Yeah. Don't quote me here, Joe, right? But I want to say that I remember watching it was a podcast, it was a webcast or something like that, and I think it was Corbin. Corbin said something like, I remember going to games where players after tough outings, or they would rather go home with their grandparents than their actual parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because grandparents really, they go there to support you, and didn't matter if you win, lose, did well or not. They were happy to go see you play. They take you for an ice cream, and that was it. And they knew that if you got in the car with Dad, it was gonna be a long drive home.
Yeah, hell to pay.
Yeah. That being said, Javon, step up, Javon. Grab a mic here. See if you can pull up next to Teddy or something.
He's gonna grab me a mic.
Okay, well, I got a question. Just speak into Teddy's mic real quick. So, for all those that don't know, 235radio.com, 235radio.com. Thanks, DJ Hectic, for making this happen.
Yep.
Now, we got Jovan Enriquez, that's my son. I've been coaching him a long time. And so, you being my son, I know that I wasn't an easy dad, right? So, I know personally on the way home when you came up short sometimes, and I'm sure your brother would echo the sentiments, right? How were those rides home from your standpoint?
Definitely it was difficult to deal with not being, playing the best game maybe, but the way you spoke to me, it was all to just make me better as an athlete. So yeah, some kids might rather go home with their grandparents and have that ice cream, but what your dad does is try to mold you as a better athlete, better person overall. So all you really were doing is just really wanted me to be better at the end of the day.
Good. Do you happen to remember any conversation that we had that really sticks in your head that said, you know what, it makes sense?
Definitely. I mean, so I just remember, I recall a time where, I made a couple of errors. It was in a practice, actually. Made a couple of errors, and I got upset. You're like, listen, you can't carry yourself that way. Why don't you go run? I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I got to go run. Everybody's looking at me like, this guy's really making him run. So I was running, and at that point in time, I realized the reason why you're making me run is because, I wasn't carrying myself the way I was supposed to be an athlete, even a good teammate, any of those things. You can't get upset, you can't get angry. You got to hold yourself to a higher caliber than that,
Yeah. Joe, what are your thoughts on that? Like dads being tough on their kids on the way home. Jovan says that, he felt like it made him better. Do you think?
I think some kids, to be honest with you, in life, maybe want to drive home with their dad. Maybe some don't have the opportunity to do that. I think that's part of the problem.
Preach.
I don't know if that's even been brought up, but that really needs to be talked about, you know? The easy way out is going with the grandparents.
Wow. That's true. That's true.
I do think, you know, the parents in a nutshell are looking at the peer pressure that their kids are dealing with. They're dealing with the same peer pressure because they're not educated in the game enough to know that without the educational piece, there is no baseball moving forward. They're chasing a pipe dream.
Right.
The real dream is these two boys right here beating odds and getting an education and having fun and playing.
Three. We got
Three. Playing in college, making relationships that are going to last a lifetime. You know, your high school buddies coming, they're gone. You know, the guys that you're around right now are probably the guys that you went to school with, you hung around with. Because as a young guy, you really don't mature as a 17, 18, 19-year-old.
Not at all.
You know, I've done lots of studies that, you know, a man's brain doesn't fully develop until they're 27. So what do you really know when you're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old? The thing about baseball is being able to get through all that adversity and still having a uniform on when you're 20, 22. Because now you have a little bit of an opportunity in understanding what's going on around you, that you can block out noises that you used to be not able to block out.
That's really the advantage. A lot of these kids, you know, just to switch gears a little bit, and not for too long. But that's one of those things, like how a school might be more intrigued and more apt to take a 20-year-old senior than an 18-year-old senior, like a 4-year school,
100%.
because of the maturity level.
The advantage is twofold.
Yeah.
It really is.
So it's almost like if you're an athlete, you're almost better off starting school when you're 7 years old rather than when you're 5.
Well, I'll tell you what happens is the immaturity level
It would have been great.
will get guys that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars get fired. So why not go with the more mature kid that's going to compete? They might not be pros, but they're going to compete enough, not act up, and get those guys the wins in order for them to keep their jobs.
That's what it comes down to. How hard are you willing to compete? What are you willing to bring to the table every day?
Now, as coaches, and you know, how much do you really put in stock wins and losses? Teddy, I know this past season you had about a 500 season, but I know Gene. I mean, you had a tough loss in the semifinals, right? But I know that you both have played in games that are high stake games and lost in championships, won championships. Like, how much stock, Javon? Chime in also. Like, how much stock do you put in wins and losses? I mean, right now, in the grand scheme of things, you guys have graduated college. You're off coaching, right? You're off teaching young folks how to play the game. Those wins and losses, do they really matter today? Those championships that you won, those championships that you lost, do they matter today?
So, in my opinion, everybody loves winning. Me personally, I love winning. But at the end of the day, I think we have to really, our job as coaches is to really help each individual player be a better person at the end of the season, whether wins or losses. Losses also, you learn the most from losses, I feel like. So, we work hard every day, to be a better athlete, of course, but we also have to make sure that the kids are respecting their parents, doing the right thing in school. And if they're doing that, I feel like I did a good job as a coach. But, of course, winning is the icing on the cake right there.
Right on.
I mean, that's interesting. I actually went to one of your games. Might have been a championship game or not. But in the last 7 years, might have been the best game I've attended. And I think I don't even know what age group they were. But they were young kids, probably first year on the Big Diamond, maybe.
Yeah,
It was
13s.
last year, 13s.
It might have been a 1-0 game
It
in
was.
7 innings. Probably the cleanest game I've seen in 10 years.
Wow.
But the kids, what he's talking about, learning from losing or whatever, but learning how to respect the game while you're winning, while you're losing, is imperative, for your future successes. But that game, I don't think you won, but it might have been the best game I had been to in 10 years.
Yeah,
At that age level, it was phenomenal.
yeah.
Thank
I remember that game. It was a great
It
game.
was.
235radio.com. Hey, James, give me your take on this thing.
As a player, yes, they do matter for me personally because that's just my competitive nature. Like that's what I do. Like I want to win. No matter who's in front of me, I want to win. As a coach, no, they don't matter as much because they need to go through those. They need to go through those wins and losses to understand what the game is about. To maybe even motivate them to become a better player, you know. But as an athlete, as a player, yeah, those losses, those wins do matter to me, because those two losses, the two times that I've lost in a championship game at a college level, they affected that third run for us to be even more motivated. Like, we can't let this one slide now. So those wins and losses do matter, but winning, I want to win, no matter who's in front of me.
Yeah, but now, I mean, I'm saying now, today, do those wins and losses, do they matter in the grand scheme of things today, right now?
Yeah, I could have had 3, not 1.
Okay. All right, how about you, Teddy? What do you got?
As a player, everybody wants to win. If you don't want to win, I think you don't belong on the field, because that's just competitive nature, you know. As a coach, I want to win, but like Jovan said, I also want to mold these players into young men to respect their families and go off. If they don't play baseball the next year, be able to go off into the world and be a better human being.
Okay. You know, like, I want to touch on something what you just said, right? So now, I mean, having you three guys here, you know, you guys have played for me for a lot of years, man, and I'm blessed to have you guys still here, giving back to future Giants, right? And of course, blessed with the friendship that I have here with Joe Katakakis, and of course, DJ Hector showing us love here, 235radio.com, you know.
Check it out.
Yes, sir.
But the thing I wanted to ask, right? What would you have done different? Like, what would you have different that today? Like, if looking back, to put you where you would want to be. Like, I know that talking to Jim. I mean, I don't think I've ever asked you, Teddy, but I would think that's the same thing. Like, you know, if you had a shot, you'd still be playing ball you'd play ball at a pro level. Would that be something that you'd still want to do? I mean, looking back at it.
Of course.
So what would you have done different that you think would have got you a little closer to that?
Probably worked a little harder. I wouldn't say I was a slacker by no means, but there was times where I woke up at 6 a.m. and I told myself I was gonna work out, and I just went right back to sleep. And those 6 a.m. workouts could have been the difference of fielding a ground ball or hitting a home run, you know?
Making that play in the hole.
Yep.
Team, what do you got?
I would say, as Teddy said, work harder for sure. We've all had those days where we just want to stay in bed and not do work. So push myself a little harder on that. And what I've seen nowadays is just more exposure. I wish I had that exposure. Put myself in YouTube videos and whatnot. Before it was Facebook, putting them all those videos of me doing well and the failures. It is what it is. Like, as long as you get your name out there, I'm pretty sure all three of us, and including other players that we all know who, could have been playing pro ball right now.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't disagree with that. I mean, I think making the best of your opportunities is big. What do you got, Javon? What would you say?
I think for me it's a little different than these guys. For me, I really think I dropped the ball when it came to the academic part of it. You know, I think if I did the right thing in school, I could have maybe went to I'm not saying my school was a bad school. We won 2 national championships, but there's a little bit of a difference between Division II and Division I. Just seeing a couple of my friends that went Division I, the type of care they got from physical therapy, all those kinds of things. It's different. It's a different
Food.
The food is unbelievable difference.
Gyms.
The gyms. We were working out in a basement, 4 walls, 30 guys. You know,
Yep.
There's room similar to this, with his workout equipment, you know. So it's definitely different. I think if I did the right thing in school, it could have definitely had a better shot at what I wanted to do.
Joe, what like I know that you've helped kids through the process, and to this day you still help guys through the process. What is the game changer? What do you think the game changer is?
It's resources, you know. It's really all about resources, and what you guys are basically explaining without saying is more effort in any part of your lives might have got you to where you really wanted to be.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
I just say that the opportunities are endless if you have the right support system. You know, maybe at that time you didn't have the support system, but it's obvious that you still care enough for this gentleman to be around him still. So he put some type of positive energy in you guys. You're your son. You had no choice. They have a choice to be here.
Right.
They have a choice to come back. They could go anywhere. They're
Right.
college educated, play college baseball. For them to come back, you guys had a pretty good support system, whether it was the other support systems around you, but you got to where you needed to get to in order to get to where you're at right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys got some championship rings. I saw some championship rings. Show them off, man.
Yeah, we got those too. Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
You left the other at home.
Yeah, I left mine at home. I keep mine on ice, you know.
Hey, I also want to say congratulations to my son Jovan. You know, man, that he's gonna have a son. Marissa's here. You know,
Yeah.
it's gonna be my second grandson. I'm excited for that. You know, again, baseball's dead. Episode 1. I'm here with Teddy Mercado, Jim Castillo, Jovan Enriquez, and Joel Catechidis. This is going to be a weekly podcast, and we're going to continue to bring in great guests and talk baseball. You know, why don't you guys tell me a little bit about maybe what event in baseball really sticks in your head that you always think about? Man, you remember this time? Like, tell me one of those stories.
I got too many for you.
Or share one of them. Someone share one.
Man.
Go ahead, Hov.
You want a good one or you want a bad one? They're both great, you know.
Give me the good one.
The good one. All right. So I'll go. 2000. What was the first ring we got? 2016.
Yeah.
All right. 2016 was a good one. That one we won pretty smooth, but the next one after that was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So we had a rival team, Apprentice. They were the Apprentice school out of Virginia. They traveled up to New York to play us in the World Series, and we've been rivals for 3 years at that point.
This is a great story.
Yeah.
Hold on, before you get to that story, Teddy, you remember that story?
Oh yeah.
Let Teddy come in with the backstory. Teddy, tell him the backstory. What happened leading up to this game?
With Tyler Koonsman. Shout out to Tyler Koonsman, man.
We had one player suspended
During the game.
Yeah, during the game. It was actually during the tournament. We went down to Virginia to play them in a tournament, and something happened. And
Around February time.
Yeah. And kid ended up getting suspended. He couldn't travel with the team, couldn't do overnight trips for the entire season, and that whole year was basically getting him to play that team in the World Series.
And it happened.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we finally got our chance. So we won the first 2 games. So if you don't know, we got to win 4 games to be World Series champions. We won 2 in a row. Third one, we're facing Apprentice. Now, the catcher for the Apprentice team actually called the police on the player, so that's why he got suspended. So we hated the catcher on the other team because that was just like a jerk move. Like, come on. He did that. We ended up facing them. Tyler asked for the ball, you know. He's like, come on. He throws like 94 miles per hour, big kid. He wants the ball. He ends up getting shelled.
Hold on a second. Okay, let me
Yeah.
take a segue on this.
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation? So, the kid got suspended. Now you got to win one more game. I mean, and you got your horse. You got your ace. Your ace is ready to go, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
That was me. I'm the fourth pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have Devon in the lineup ready to go, and this kid that got suspended by that team. So you know that emotions are high,
Yeah.
right? So now the story comes up. Now the whole dynamic of the game changes. Now you're coaching with emotions. You're not coaching X's and O's anymore. Was that the right move for the coach?
To put the other kid in that was suspended?
Yeah, well, the kid was no longer suspended, but the kid he was able to pitch that game, but it was his turn to pitch.
I pitched my guy that's been bringing me there the whole time. I don't know the end of the story,
Yeah,
but I go with my horse. I go with who's there.
you don't play the emotions.
No, because that kid sacrificed and hurt the team along the way.
That's true.
You know, you don't get to that point and then say, okay, here you go. This doesn't work. Life doesn't work like that.
Right. So go ahead and tell us what happened.
So, anyways, yeah. So, Tyler ends up getting hit around. We lose that game bad. And it looks like, it's going to be tough. We go home. We try to take the bus home. We're all talking. We're all in the group chat. Guys, this can't be the last game. We can't go out like this. We got to really grind hard. We got to win 3 games in one day because Apprentice was undefeated at that point, and we had 1 loss. So it's 2-game elimination. So we won. I pitched the first game of the day, which was at like 9 a.m. I threw, I think it was a 2-hit shutout in 7 innings. And that was against Clary University. Next game, yep. Thank you. Next game, we had the entire pitching staff pitch an unbelievable game. We won that game just from putting pieces together. That was a great job by our coach right there, just putting everybody in that game. And then it came down to Nick Powers, my boy Nicky P. He came in. It was a 9-inning game. We had to win that game in order to be champions. And he pitched 2 innings, and then the baseball gods just started downpouring. I don't know. It was like a 98-degree day.
He was
starts
cramping hard
downpouring.
that day too.
He didn't look like himself. I mean, he was gonna lose that game.
Yeah.
He was cramping up. His whole legs were cramping up. His thighs. We played. That was our 3rd game of the day, so it wasn't looking too good. And then came back the next day. He asked Coach for the ball. Coach was like, "No, you're not pitching today." He's like, "Coach, give me the ball." Gave him the ball. The rest is history. We're champions again. And yeah, man, that was a great story right there.
I remember I was there for those games, and that was some great baseball, man.
Yep.
It was some great baseball. Gene, what do you got?
Well, mine was recent. My senior year, we're playing Southern Maine at their home field, and this game goes, I want to say, 13 innings, maybe more. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but we had this sophomore step up, Sean Cormier. Doesn't throw hard, but he spots up.
Yeah.
And when I tell you this performance was brilliant, he might have gotten hit a little bit, but they were to the warning track. But those are outs. And we were just like, all right, we just need that one hit to get us going. We just need that one moment for us to get the bats going. We were tied since like the 6th, 5th inning. It's a tie game all the way to the 13th, 14th inning. We got Nicky Powers at first. Shout out to Nick. We have Jamie Carey up to bat. Jamie is battling right now. We have 1 out. He is battling. I believe Nick steals second. On a dirt ball read, great read by Nick. He gets the second. He advances. Now this at bat is still going on because Jamie is battling. He's one of those guys where he just finds a way to get his pitch. He hits a dribbler right over second base, kind of like a low line drive, not that hard, not too hard, not so soft. Nicky P is rounding third. Coach is sending him.
Wow, I watched this game.
Yes, he scores, and that was to win our regional championship.
Do you remember I called you for that game? I remember sitting there at the dugout in the back TV, I plugged it into because it was being streamed,
Yeah.
and I remember watching Nikki P rounding third and sliding home, head first.
Yeah, yeah. And
That
the
was a great moment.
And the thing was, in that tournament, we had to win 4 games. So I believe we versed them first, Southern Maine, because we were the 4th seed.
And they were ranked 1.
Yes, in that grouping, we beat them. I don't know how, but we slaughtered them. It was like we just destroyed them. Then we had to play. I believe it was MIT. We won that game, and then we lost. I forget who we lost to, but then we had to first Southern Maine again, and that was to win because they ended up winning out too after we beat them. So it was back to us, and yeah, that game went into extras. These guys were hitting like balls that if they were a few miles per hour harder, they were out the park and they would have won. But the baseball guys were in our favor, and that was just one of the biggest hits that I've seen in my baseball career as a teammate, as a player, as a coach, et cetera, et cetera.
That's pretty cool. Southern Maine, like guys that are listening, that are younger guys that are still in high school. Southern Maine, their coach Ed Flaherty is a friend of mine. Both of his sons played pro ball. One went to Vanderbilt, went on to play a lot of pro ball actually. Ryan Flaherty was his name. But Ed runs a superb program,
Yep.
and couldn't beat you guys that year.
No, I mean,
Imagine that.
we had. So there was this random. Oh, so there was this D3 podcast, and they follow up on all D3 teams. They watch our stats. They see our seasons, how it's going. They see us, how we get ranked, et cetera, et cetera. I believe we had like a 0.3% of winning that grouping, and we came out on top. So that was probably that alone, that podcast there basically instilled fire in us to make sure that we won that grouping.
In fact, that was an event that I never missed as a scout. That Division III regional.
Oh, really?
Always went there to find a player or two. Always. Imagine that.
I remember for that the game, those games, like the championship games against UMass Boston.
Yeah.
I wish I was there. I think I was away. I think
We were in Florida.
yeah.
That was a super regional, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and I was like, man, I wish I
was.
was there. I think I was talking to you. You were over there. I think you went to one of those games. What's up with you, Teddy? What do you got?
Well, these guys gave you positive stories, so I'm gonna give you one that was negative.
235radio.com.
Pretty close to you guys. LTA championship was it 2014, around there.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Top of the 7th, first and second, 2 outs. Ground ball hit to Teddy in the hole. Throws it away. Runner from second scores. And they end up winning that championship. That was rough. We were up the whole game. I remember counting down the outs from like 9, looking at Jovan at third, like counting down, and it happens, you know. I
Jim
remember
was on the bump that game, actually.
Yep.
I was, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Jim.
I was
Yep.
on the
Yeah.
bump. That was probably, yeah, that was my first LTA championship.
I lost
run.
sleep. I lost sleep for
Run.
a couple weeks, man.
The year
Same.
before, that was 2013 was the first year I played for Julio, and then that second year I was in the LTA and we made that run. We had a squad.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
And-
all our LTA squads were tough.
Yes.
But it's got to be. You know what? In all fairness, like you guys are friends, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you said. You know, you have these bonds that get created from
Brotherhood.
from these teams and stuff, and
Absolutely.
so you can't forget that because
No.
you probably hear about it
I heard
once
about
a day.
about 100 times for the next
The fun.
The
The
big
2 to
fun.
3
question is,
weeks.
Did you grab a ride with the grandparents?
I rode home with Dad and Mom.
The funny thing is about that story is this was from my perspective. After that game, I go home. Apparently there was a cookout because we were supposed to win. I'm at this cookout, annoyed, and I see my phone ring. Guess who it is? Jovan. We had probably a conversation for about 30 minutes. I'm out front of my house just talking to Jovan about how we don't understand how we lost this game because we were ahead the whole time, right? So that phone call consisted of bro, we have to win next year. Like, I don't care who's coming back. We have to win. And Jovan's over here getting all ramped up, getting me amped up about next year. And we just finished losing a game that was really important to us because it was a summer game. It was like we wanted to win. We are all a family, you know. But then that 2015 comes and we lost a lot of guys. And shout out to Brian Strasha. He was our coach.
Coach Brian, man.
Yeah.
He had all the pieces he need that year. I don't know how he does it. He sees the baseball game in a very, very unique way. And I remember Jovan pitching the semifinal game to get us into the championship game. And at this point, I'm going about 2 weeks without pitching. And Brian's like, "You got the championship game." I'm like, "What? What do you mean? I haven't pitched. You have the championship." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." So this is how it played out. We are playing. I forget. They were
Burlington, I
like
think.
Burlington. Yes, Burlington.
Yeah.
It was a 0-0 game probably until like the 5th, 6th inning. I remember.
Jesse Loesch.
Yep, Jesse Lowe's steals second.
Yeah.
He steals second. I don't remember exactly how he scored, but that was the only.
PJ Mulligan, I think. PJ Mulligan hit him home.
I don't
Might have been.
maybe, but I know that was the only run that scored that day. It was a 1-0 game. Just how Joe saw me coaching that 13U. That's exactly how the game was. It was just a 1-0 game, and I remember I'm on the bump and I need 3 outs. I don't remember the first 2 outs, but I definitely remember the last out. It was probably one of the most nerve-wracking I've ever felt on a diamond. And the thing is, Burlington was chirping me the whole game because I used to have sunglasses because they were prescribed, so they would be calling me 4 eyes, all this and that. I was going through all this adversity in a championship game, and I'm just like, my focus is to throw strikes, and then all of a sudden that last out, before I throw this pitch, I literally feel my knees shaking. My adrenaline is through the roof because I know all we need is 1 out. Ground ball to Matt at third, throws it across the diamond, and we win a championship for the Giants for the first time. That was also another exciting moment in my baseball career. But
I agree with that.
the way that the same day when we lost in 2014, and I'm on the phone with Jovan, and we see things happening for 2015, was extremely powerful for me.
Right on, man.
You're welcome.
Hey, so I kind of those are great stories, but I want to shout out my guy out there in the South Shore Elite Baseball, Javi Marichal. Man, he's doing great things with this young group over there. He's got a 9U team, right? He's got a 9U team that's 30-0 so far.
Wow.
30-0. What are your thoughts on a 9U team going 30-0?
Whoa.
Looks like they got to play some better competition.
Yeah, so I mean, you think that's definitely hard to sustain?
It's impossible.
It's impossible, right? So my thing is to him. I always tell him, it's definitely a lot easier when you have every parent vested in the kid, right? I mean, I've been coaching a long time. You've been around it a long time, and now you guys see it. You definitely have guys that your top guys are usually the guys that have dads or have moms that are vested. They show up, they get the lessons, they play catch, they get the extra ground balls and things of that nature. And he's been lucky. I think from the outside looking in, I think that plays a big role. But I keep telling him that's going to be hard to sustain.
Oh yeah.
Do you think the one thing also that I'm thinking is, do you think at 9 years old playing at that level, 30-0, do you think that these kids could get punched out? Like, by punched out meaning get tired of the game and say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't know. I think the interesting part will be, do the parents turn on the coach when they're 30-1?
Whoa.
Happens when they lose.
Yep.
That's another thing.
Right.
Everything's
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. 30-1 is coming, right?
Yeah.
You're right, because everything's great when you're winning.
Yep.
It's when you're losing that things get a little funky. And I never even thought of that, but that's a great point.
Usually the vested parents are sometimes overly vested.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a baseball guy, but I always say that at the end of the day, I'm a glorified baseball dad. You know, I love the reason I started this whole thing was because I love being at the ballpark with my kid. You know, and then his friends came around and it just snowballed into what we have today. You know, but at the end of the day, I'm a glorified baseball dad, and I love being that. But sometimes I know I could be a little overbearing. You know, I know that sometimes, you know, Jovan don't get it right now because, you know, he's older, but I know that Jordan gets it. You know, I'm on him. And it could be sometimes over the top. You know, Jovan, you touched base on the academics, on the academics, and I know that one of the things that I appreciate from Joel is the fact that I've learned a lot from I learned a lot from Jovan's experience as far as a dad, not going on this journey with Jovan at the College of St. Joe's, you know, and seeing his struggles, and then watching kids that did the right thing in school, that they had the facilities and the resources to actually elevate their game, where at a lower end school, all of a sudden you got to do the work yourself.
Yeah.
The resources aren't there, so you gotta kind of grind and get after yourself, and you gotta find ways to get your protein, because you know they're feeding you cornflakes.
Yep.
You know, it's not even brand name corn. It's cornflakes. You know, like
Flakes.
yeah, it's flakes. You know, so Joe, why don't you talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the importance of education and your take on that.
Well, it's important to strive to be the best you want it. You can be, but you know, to utilize the system and not let the system utilize you, in a sense where you do the education, you're going to find the school. You might do all the baseball you can, but still not find a school because you didn't do the basics to get into school. You know, and I think a lot comes down to the education in your high schools and public school versus private school and all that. It makes a difference. You know, when you have the resources that are spelled out for you, that these are the courses you need in order to get to this type of school, as opposed to just taking courses and trying to get into school. You can't get into certain schools if you haven't taken your core requirement classes.
I remember I said
You can't even be eligible to the clearinghouse. Not in scouting in my life, I've been to high schools to see a kid and meet with their guidance department and find out that they don't even know what the clearinghouse is because they never had that type of talented player come in. Never mind for pro ball, but never mind for Division I or Division II college baseball.
Damn.
Wow.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Very.
And it's not just here, it's across the country. So when you say kids get missed, maybe they didn't have a plan in place,
right.
you know?
I
And the plan starts in the classroom.
remember I told you how I had this one kid. This one kid was like, I asked him his GPA, and he's like, "Oh, my GPA coach is a 4.1, but he's taking English 1. You know, like he's taking, and the kid is not like he's a freshman. I think he might be a junior. You know, so it's like he's caught up in this illusion that he's a great student, but he's not taking any courses that have any value to him.
Yeah, I mean, I've run into these situations many times. It's, you know, a kid had a 4.2 and a state that's adjoined to us, and he wanted to go to Army. He had all the letters and all that stuff to get into Army, which is a prestigious school in its own self. But to play a sport there and to be a cadet, the whole 9 yards, he couldn't get in. He had a 4.3 grade point average. But in his high school, the core requirement classes didn't match up with getting into Army.
With their expectations.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
So
You only know what you know, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, would you advise? So I know that as of late, I always like even I talk from my own personal experience, right? And I also do this with my ball players, but my own personal opinion, like with Jordan. Jordan's a freshman. We all know Jordan's a freshman at St. John's Prep, and for me, it's always important for me to ask him, like, pal, what do you want to be when you grow up, other than I want to be a baseball player. Like, what is it that you want to be, you know, and what schools offer that and that you might be interested in going to. I need you to start identifying those schools at an early age. That way he can start taking those required courses.
Sure. I mean, the clearinghouse lays it out. You need 2 Englishes, 2 maths, 2 this, 2 that. But if you just skate your whole time and take your basic English 1, your basic history, and you're not taking regular or college prep classes, you're not going to be prepared for college. It's just not going to happen, you know? Because if you prepare yourself at a young age, the structure and the rest just takes care of itself as you move on, whether it's a junior college, whether it's a 4-year school. And you bring up the fact that you go to a lower tier university, baseball-wise, doesn't mean the academics aren't the same as what you would take at a good school.
Yep.
But you still have to put the effort in. You still have to structure your life in order to get up in the morning. Mm-hmm. No one's going to wake you up. Mm-hmm. No one's going to tell you to eat your breakfast. Go to your 4-hour class. Go to weight training. Go to your practice.
That's all on you.
And then come home and do your schoolwork and start over the next day. If you got outside influences and stuff and you're not structured, that you were kind of structured in high school, if you didn't have that structure, you're going to struggle. It doesn't matter how good you are at baseball, football, soccer. It doesn't make a difference. You got to be self-motivated even when you get into school, because now you're going to be around kids that are as good, if not better than you, that are structured.
Yep.
You know, when you get your shot, you got to take it. But you can't be that guy that goes one place, leaves, goes to the next place. It goes. It's just not going to work in life. You can't run away from things.
Yeah.
You got to squash them. You know, you control your own destiny, especially when you have the opportunity to get into school. Somebody did the right thing by you. You
Yep.
got to where you need to be. Now it's kind of you're on your own. It's like when I was playing and my dad says, all right, I'm done with you. You're 12 years old. I'm not coaching you anymore. You want to be good? You want to make teams and stuff? It's on you now. And he stopped coaching me. Taught me a real valuable lesson. Didn't understand it then.
Right.
He didn't love me any less, but he was teaching me about real world stuff.
Deep.
So fellas, listen, 235radio.com. We're gonna wrap up. Some closing words? You guys closing statements? Anything you want to add, Javon?
Yeah, man, if there's any advice I can give to any of the younger athletes out there, man, just make sure you do the right thing in school, respect your parents, respect your elders, doesn't matter who it is. If you could pick up a piece of trash on the side of the road, do it, man, you know, be a good citizen, you know. That's really all I got.
Right
Do
on.
the things that you don't want to do. Those are the things that are going to make you better.
Teddy?
Don't listen to the ones that tell you can't do it, because they're telling you can't do it because they couldn't do it.
Yeah, shoot for small wins, you know. Make your bed. Kiss your family before you leave school. Treat everyone how you want to be treated. And that's just not a myth, man. That's life.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't matter who you are. You treat people how you want to be treated, you'll be respected.
Absolutely.
Respect goes a long way in this world. It's been lost,
Yep.
mind you. There are a lot of people that lost their way.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always another day.
Right on. For me, I think you got to protect your dream. There's a lot of folks out there that want to crush your dreams. It's your dream, protect it. It's your job to protect your dream. It's not, nobody's going to care about your dream. It's your dream, protect it. So that being said, I want to thank again DJ Hectic, 235radio.com.
Thank you.
Baseball is Dead, episode 1. I hope you
Appreciate y'all.
enjoyed yourself. Things are only going to get better from here. Thank you, and have a good one.
Peace.
Thank you.